Now let me get back to my friend. I don't remember, I didn't know, I know you very well, but I didn't know the other post was by you. I remember I read in passing this one where you say, your source was also my source. The reason I picked interest was, this was a lawyer saying, acting on hearsay. I think I should also blame myself for acting on hearsay, and but I was concerned, but because I thought a lawyer would do better. The Balaalo thing, the first time I had somebody refer to ethnicity was a member of parliament from Kazo or something like that. I don't know if you come from Kazo yourself. Are you also a Mulalo? You are a Mulalo. Is the reference to Mulalo an ethnic? Is because I was I made the 1995 constitution. I don't remember a tribal ethnic group called Balaalo in this country. Yeah. So you have introduced ethnicity, that's why I'm responding. And I'm doing it in very, very good state. And I know you, you know me. What surprises me, you should have walked to my chamber and say, Chief Justice Owiny-Dollo, this is not you. You would not have written. Actually, you would have written to defend me against the Opondo of this world. But as I told you, you know what Ofwono is. He said two things very important, by the way. He said I would die in my own movie. And I almost responded, I think I will die the way Uchumi died in their own movies. If you remember him and Uchumi. Yes, because he's used to people die in those in grabbing movies. But that is just, it's not important. But what is important, Landed Council can do. Go and read Opondo again. The most important thing he said was that I need to know, with regard to what they call the Balaalo, that there are people in government who have prior knowledge of government policy, of government action, which is going to take place in area, and they rush to acquire land in those areas. I want this to sink, that people in government, I want this to sink in you. But otherwise, the truth is, and it is good I'm speaking about this, the president of the country, I'm sure you know who the president of the country is. You've heard of him. You have even drunk milk together with him, I'm sure. He's the one who came out with an executive order, May last year, 2023. An executive order on 3 issues: the Karimojong raid in the neighboring districts in Acholi Sub-region, the massive destruction of the environment in the Acholi Sub-region, and then, in his own words, the Balaalo intrusion. It was not Owiny-Dollo who said Balaalo, it is the president of the country. So if anybody is being anti some ethnic group, you blame the president of this country. It's the one who, yes, said, and he gave his reasons. I want you to read that executive order. And in the end, he said, he gave a deadline. All these people who are there must vacate. And if there are anyone who says, I acquired the land lawfully, it will be examined, established, and then once it has been established, then he gives conditions on how you can live there. And this was against a backdrop of massive destruction of properties. You know, and you want to know, by the way, my cattle keeper is a Mulalo, what you call Mulalo. Understand? So you say, if I'm passionate about Balaalo, I'm passionate about them as very good cattle keepers because one is looking after my cattle. To that extent, yes. So there was another voice. Another person responded, and in these words, this order you've given is not fair. The people who are there, because the president had said, the people who are there, and I don't think the president of Uganda acts impulsively or spontaneously. He has the capacity to investigate any complaint that comes. And indeed, among the people who were trampling on people's property, crops, and the area is a crop growing area, it's not a cattle keeping area. People from Rwanda, people from Tanzania, and people from DRC. And the president states in his executive order. If you visited me, I would give you a picture of a Rwandese who was found in that area with an ID of Rwanda. So he gave this directive, and then a very senior person wrote to him. So the people who are there are actually not the Balaalo you are thinking about. These are government ministers, military officers, in writing. And that is when now he delayed the implementation. I think he pushed the deadline. That's something for verification to take place. At that time, you are going to have an insurgency in the Acholi Sub-region. You don't know what war is about. You've never seen war. I lived in war my adult life. I've been a leader during the war. So he is the one who involved me to cool down the temper, because there were voices to say, let's go march onto this Balaalo and drive them away. And you know what would have happened. So my involvement by the president, which does not in any way conflict with this famous Bangalore thing you cite, you cite the letter but not the spirit, was to speak to the people, bring the people. He didn't want to involve politicians for this. Indeed, I brought people on the ground, took them to the State House. They spoke for themselves. Then the remark I made, which made some people now broke Opondo to speak ill of me, was this to the president. This I can tell you. Your Excellency, it is painful. You have ministers who should help you to come up with a policy for the recovery of the war-torn people of this area. They're the ones going and grabbing land. They're the ones who are now employing Balaalo to look after their cattle. You have military officers who should be promoting your revolution and now grabbing land. This is unthinkable. That one I told the president. Beyond that, I've never said anything about the Balaalo. But if you had come to me, you've known this. Then we agreed with him that I would go and speak on radio, which I did in Gulu, and it was connected to all the FMs in the Acholi Sub-region, that let nobody take the law into their hands, because this is a matter which is being resolved. I explained to him that a committee has been set which will do the verification. He amended, as a result of those visitations, he amended, he said, okay, those who are roaming the countryside must leave, but those who claim to have fence of land, which they say they bought, can remain until a verification committee goes and verifies that the land was lawfully acquired, the fencing is proper, and there is water provision, and so on and so forth. So this is what happened. If you think a Chief Justice should not do that, we will never agree with you. I have no apology to make. I would do it again until the Lord calls me. That one I would do, because I don't want that society to see bloodshed again. For you, you've not lived in war. You can afford to play games. For me, it's not a matter of games. The Bangalore Declaration will never help our people to stop bloodshed. And by the way, if you want me to step down as Chief Justice, it is the easiest decision. You have to choose between being Chief Justice and ensuring that there is no armed conflict in Acholi Sub-region. Even from me, I'll walk away and write that letter of resignation. Thank you.